the no people that watch my videos, to all the none of you, all none of you. That's what I ought to start saying. To all none of you that are watching my videos. If you guys watched the happening on the interwebs this past week, Alex Jones was on there. His viewership on X got cut by 90%. All I do is stream. I watch streaming channels. I only watch YouTube. I don't watch anything else. You want to find out what's going on? Watch YouTube. Because there's so many. The diversity in information is so vast that you can pick and choose what you want to hear, depending on who you think is real. When I see 10 to 20 different freaking influencers come out at one time pushing a narrative, then I know that's a bought and paid for narrative. If you can't see, I just did not understand and even fathom. I could not fathom the amount of control that Israel has over our media. And I'm not going to be one of these Jimmy Dore guys where every word out of my mouth goes Israel, Israel, Israel. But it is shocking the amount of control that the JOOS has over our nation. Alex Jones said this week, like I said, 90%. His reach, his views got cut by 90% on Twitter, on X. 90%. He said, well, it looks like they've changed the algorithm or something. Well, then, of course, Tim Pool, which I've grown a great distaste for him. He was tolerable before because I don't mind dissenting opinions. He was tolerable. Now he's an enemy. Tim Pool's an enemy. He is a Donald Trump, no matter what. Trump can do no wrong because he's being paid to push that narrative. All these people come out, and Tim Pool said, well, Alex Jones, it's like if you sell ice cream your whole life, and then the next week you come out and you say you want to be vegan, that you're going to start selling vegan. The customers decide what they want to see. Your content. Watch. Direct attack on Alex Jones. Listen, you can say whatever you want about Alex Jones. That man helped free me. He's not wrong. I don't recall many times Alex Jones has ever been wrong. If you can say Sandy Hook, it don't matter because that's not true either. I watched the trial. I know how many lies were told. It's all BS. It's all lies. There's things that I disagree with Alex about, but he calls balls and strikes just like me. So Alex said, well, Tim Pool, I've heard from sources that you have secret meetings with Netanyahu, and you have, he backed off slightly from saying that Tim Pool had an Israeli handler. But here's the problem with that comment that Alex Jones said. Tim Pool admitted it last year that he had an off-the-record sit down with Benjamin Netanyahu. And once you see that right there, as soon as the Iran war started, boom. Tim Pool didn't care much about being against war. He didn't care much about bombing people now. He just avoids avoids it altogether. Just like his attacks on Candace Owens. His attacks on anybody that goes against the Charlie Kirk narrative. Now, let me specify, let me tell you what I think about the Charlie Kirk narrative. I think Charlie Kirk's still alive. I think that Candace Owens is an op. I think she's playing a part. But what is exposed more than just that is I never thought that Steven Crowder would be bought. He's completely controlled. He came out against. He's coming out. Anyone that talks about Israel doing this war, he comes out against it. Now he'll graciously say, "Well, we shouldn't be sending our money to Israel or anywhere else." He'll always say anywhere else, but he won't go against Trump on this war in Iran that has nothing to do with us. It has literally nothing to do with us. We are bombing them for Israel just like we've done it for everywhere else. The whole Middle East is destroyed because the U.S. policy is whatever Israel blackmails our leaders to do is what we do. That's why the Epstein list exposing it was so important, because then we can find out who's bought and paid for. You don't need the list to know that. You can just look at the way they vote. Any congressman or senator that has a dual citizenship with a foreign nation should be arrested for treason. Trump's not ruining the country, but he's doing a lot of stuff that could help. He's doing the Iran war is a detriment, and it's stupid. I don't think he's ruining the country. He's put in a lot of good things, but the problem is the day that Trump was put out of office, everything he's done is by pen. So every executive order that has helped the American people, like shutting down the border, like refusing women in men in sports for women. It's all kind of, and you're right. The pesticides. He dropped all the cases against Monsanto. All big business just freaking won. Trump's done a lot of good things to try to bring business back to America. There's a lot of great policies he's enacted. Listen, if Trump wasn't in there now and it was Kamala Harris, we'd be in a hell of a lot worse shape. We all have to admit that. But Trump has failed, and here's the deal. When you promise big, you got to do big. I judged Trump on his first administration. His first administration, he refused to go to war. He just didn't go to war. He dropped bombs in Syria and blew up that was it. The problem now is, and this has been in effect for a long time, is Jared Kushner. Now, many people say that Trump's the Antichrist, and there's a case to make for it. But Jared Kushner is the one who actually brought the Abraham Accord, which is the peace deal, just like the Bible talks about. Remember, there is Lucifer, and then there's the Antichrist, and there are many Antichrist. Well, Jared Kushner, he and Witkoff, open Jews, 2 years ago said they're going to open up the Gaza Strip to be the technology hub of the world. They're going to make it one of the greatest leisure spots in the world for finance and technology. Jared Kushner. If you don't know anything about Jared Kushner, it's Trump's son-in-law, but what you need to really know is Jared Kushner used to own this building in New York, in Manhattan Avenue. It's a huge black billion-dollar building. Jared Kushner, the man's 35 years old, he's got a billion-dollar building. Well, the address of that building was 666. That was literally the address of his building in Manhattan. You can't make this stuff up. But I heard it from him and Steve Witkoff both say, oh yes, we're going to level Gaza. This is before the war even began. We're going to level Gaza, and we're going to turn over that land. And listen, the place, the lands about the Jews are God's chosen. They are not God's chosen people. If you don't believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and accept Him as your Savior and live for Him and do what He commands, then you're not going to heaven. That's how you're chosen. Those people are considered to be Israel, God's chosen, not Jews. If you'll see what's going on in Israel today, they beat, spit, and kill Christians. They're blowing up all the Christian churches. Palestine, the land of Palestine, folks. That's the oldest Christian community in the world. That's where the first Christian churches were built. And they've all been burnt down and bombed to the ground. So what does it do when we go bomb in the Middle East? Well, we are the ones that created this mass migration. We're the ones that caused the Muslims to invade every Western nation on earth. We did that. And Trump's facilitating it right now with this war. Syria, if you didn't know this, Bashar al-Assad was actually a good leader. He had the most Christian population in Syria of any Middle Eastern country. Bashar al-Assad protected Christians. So what happened? The CIA had to set him up and say he dropped chemical weapons on his population. Well, Israel did that, and Assad got the blame for it. So what does the United States, what does Donald Trump do? Thanks to the CIA freaking A, they remove Assad and put Al-Qaeda leader to run Syria. And Trump says, oh, yeah, that can change your thoughts, change your, make you walk, talk, say anything they want you to say. They can control every man, woman, and child on this planet with the technology they have. You don't have to believe it, but I've seen it in action. I've been there standing over the toilet. and then literally make me forget how to take a leak. Standing in front of a toilet, and I can't remember how to make my body urinate. That's how, I mean, that's something you don't even think about. But that's what happens. They will destroy industry. Well, there's no industry left in America. That's the problem. There's nothing left. It's been gutted thanks to Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton destroyed our nation with NAFTA. NAFTA is what destroyed America. Remember, guys, I'm in the former furniture capital of the world. Hickory was the most known for furniture, textiles, and then came fiber optics. Hickory was the number one in the world for all three of those things. Everything started on the back of tobacco. But it hollowed us out. I mean, I remember when I was young, an old man would ride around town in a big truck, and on the back of his truck, he had a big sign that said, GE sold us out and shipped all of our jobs to China. I remember seeing that sign when I was like 8 years old on Fairgrove Church Road, where GE was, where they shipped GE, General Electric. They shipped all the jobs overseas. NAFTA did that. It eliminated all U.S. companies. It hollowed us out. I mean, I could take you around Hickory. I can show you right now all over Hickory, Catawba County. I can show you Alexander County. I can show you Caldwell County, and take you to all these mega factories sitting vacant, windows busted out, nothing left. Multi-million dollar companies closed the doors. And the most disgusting part of the people that worked in these factories and these plants doing furniture, they literally had to train their replacements. They trained the illegal aliens that took their jobs. How sickening is that? That's disgusting. And my he was the head, I think he worked in a furniture plant, but he was a head machinist. So his job was keep all the machines going. So they got all this automation going. And they offered him a payout, and he took the payoff. So now everything is built to fall. Well, yeah, I mean, look, our country is full of freaking Dollar Generals and Walmarts. I don't know if you guys watched. And I'll get back to my narrative about the controlled media. Tucker Carlson had a 10-point plan about how to take America back and what policies need to be enacted. And literally one of his policies was to stop erecting ugly buildings. We used to have the most beautiful architecture in the world. We used to build the most the cheapest. You look at communist countries, there's no colors. It's nothing beautiful. It was just block buildings. No stunning beautification. Nothing. We don't have that anymore. It's all just garbage in America. But I get back to my point about the controlled media. Steven Crowder. Who would ever think? Because I used to watch him. I don't like Steven Crowder long because it's irreverent humor. I like smart humor. I don't like sitting around and playing fart noises and thinking that's entertaining. Fart noises are not entertaining. It just doesn't do anything to me. And so many times you can make fun of a queer guy with a nose ring and feel it's just not fun anymore. So I don't find the humor in that kind of garbage that Steven Crowder does. But if you look at Tucker Carlson, everybody that Trump attacked, Tucker, Candace, Alex Jones, like I said, Candace Owens is an op. She's a psyop. I cannot get that picture out of my mind of her, Charlie Kirk in 2016, sitting side by side with their brand new Make America Great Again hats on. And they both have the Illuminati hand signal of the triangle in their hand. They're both sitting there with their hands on their laps with an Illuminati hand signal. I cannot shake that image. And once they start throwing them gang signs, it's like if you go to California right now, you go to Skid Row, you go to the Crips and the Bloods, they'll show you their hand signals, and their hand signals tell you everything you know. Jeremiah Cohen, if you don't know who that is, look him up on YouTube. He's a targeted individual. He got arrested, got put in jail because he was targeted, and he let it get to him the best because he thought if you yelled loud enough and exuberant enough that people will believe you, the more you scream, "I'm not crazy," the crazier you appear to be. But I got on there and just started watching all these people in Hollywood and sport, entertainment, and media. And once you learn to watch for them signals, I can't do it. I cannot watch movies anymore. Mason came over the other week, and we sat here
for like the 5 or 6 days he was here, and every night we'd have movie night. And we watched movies that I grew up watching in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, before movies were completely garbage. Now, a lot of it wasn't what you'd consider Christian content. We watched a couple Tarantino movies, which, you know, if you want to say the N word, Tarantino do it for you. But I had to block out the fact that all these people eat children, that they sacrifice babies. I can't do it. I cannot sit down and watch an Adam Sandler movie because that man brags about all the pizza he's eaten. Anybody obsessed with pizza that much is sickening. Tom Hanks, I can't watch Forrest Gump. It's probably one of the best movies. We had the best soundtrack of any movie out there. But I cannot watch Tom Hanks because I know that that man has sacrificed children. And even the people that pretend to be Christians, like Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy. There's another one. Who's the guy that played Thor? The guy that played Thor for Marvel. They'll pretend to be like, Chris Pratt will stand on his porch with his son. Well, I'll pledge allegiance to the flag. Yeah, me and my son, we pray. And then when you listen to him behind the scenes on the bloopers, it's F this and F that, and talking about having sex with children. I mean, joking around. I mean, it's not a good thing to joke about. When I was a sinner, this girl told me a joke. She said, I shouldn't even tell the joke. It's horrible. It's a horrible joke about child abuse. It's terrible. And he jokes about that stuff. Well, always holding that one eye symbolism, or doing the 666 of the devil horns, doing all that stuff, promoting. I mean, they'll tell you everything. And once you see that for yourself, you're not. These people in entertainment are corrupt. I mean, and Alex Jones will tell you, it seems like all our politicians are, well, that's how they get them, Zoloft. That's how they get our politicians. And Matt Gaetz, if you have never seen Matt Gaetz' interview, watch his interview. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Tucker Carlson. But Matt Gaetz interviewed, and he told exactly what happened as soon as he's become a congressman. He said, they invite you to this big party. You have your name tag on, and everybody comes up to you, and they give you a card. He says, you needed money? Call me. He said, and that night, after everybody's done the show and tell, and you go introduce to all the Jewish lobby, the Israel lobby, all these other lobbies in there, then the party starts. And that's when everybody starts to get drunk. I mean, if you guys don't remember 2 years ago, under Joe Biden, the two gay guys banging each other in the butthole in the middle of Congress. They were in the middle of the House chamber having anal sex, recording themselves doing it. And they didn't even go to jail. That's why it's so disheartening, because people like Phil Robertson, I used to watch Phil. I love Phil. But he's talking about our foundings being these great godly men. Well, if they're that great and godly, then why is Washington, D.C. full of Illuminati symbols? Why are they all Freemasons? Why? And this is something that's really shook me. That has shook me to my core. There's a little girl, and she's on TikTok, but I don't watch TikTok. I just get the YouTube shorts of it. And she starts reading Bible verses, and she's like, what if Jesus already came back? What if we're in Satan's 1,000-year reign right now? What if we came too late? What then? We just keep suffering? Because I'm tired, guys. I am physically and emotionally at my end. I have to be frank, but I have to be careful, because you say certain things happen. Certain people call, raise hell. I've never belonged on this planet. Even when I had my business, I fought every day. I had to fight every day to get my business and get my money. Being gang stalked every day and still go out there and fight it, And you get to a point where I'm at now where you're just beaten. I know that if I go out to try to get a job, I mean, my physical health is 100% better than it was when I lived in Longview, because I'm not surrounded by high voltage. I'm not in the middle of in the middle of a city where gang stalkers are walking everywhere. They're still walking all the way around my property. They're still messing with stuff. I'm still being gang stalked every single day. I got a video I was going to post from Walmart 20 minutes ago. I'm still gang stalked every day, but I'm emotionally spent, because I know I could start a business tomorrow and I can be making 100 grand by the end of the year. And I know that every day is they're going to be destroying one car, and then they'll destroy the next car, and then they'll destroy this equipment, and then they'll destroy the weed eater, the lawnmower, they'll burn everything I had to the ground, just like they did the first time. You get to the point, you're like, why do I keep getting up? If every time you stand up, you swallow teeth, why keep standing? It's just like with Tina. She's being mind controlled, and she will not admit it. She tells me all these weird things that's going on. She said, oh yeah, as soon as I left the store to come to you, as soon as I left the store, I got in the car to come to you, and the girl calls me from work and says, oh, the credit card swiper just broke. It's been fine, and it just breaks as soon as I walk out the door. Any reason in the world to stop her from coming over here spending time with me, boom, there's always something in the freaking way. There's always something that comes up. It's the most bizarre stuff, and I'm like, well, you're being mind controlled. I mean, I can see her. I can see them put her to sleep. They can put her to sleep in a second, and she thinks it's perfectly normal. I mean, everybody around us everyone's literally being mind controlled. And listen, guys, if you think 6G is these data centers are just to gather data, you're wrong. These are weapons of not only mass surveillance but mass mind control. I mean, I'm literally seeing everyone being mind controlled. I mean, the CIA has turned on the weapons they use in other nations on us, the propaganda warfare on us. I mean, how many people right now still believe Donald Trump it worked for the Russians? How many people right now still believe that COVID was real? Anthony Fauci's been in Congress for the last 2 weeks testifying, saying 118 times pleading the Fifth Amendment. But they have him on tape saying that he lied about everything. Having on tape saying that he was blackmailing people. Having on tape saying that COVID wasn't that big of a threat. Having on tape that he created COVID in a Chinese lab. And these people now, they still don't believe the truth. And just like Barack Obama said, if you put enough sewage out there to consume, there'll be so much that no one will know what the truth is. And the worst part about me is I know what the truth is, but if I go on Google and try to share it, Google's controlled by the JOOs too. It's, I don't know, we're screwed. Eminent domain, yeah, they're taking everything with eminent domain. They're taking everything. They're destroying everything. I'm just I need you guys to pray. I don't have it. I've got nickels in there. That's all I got left of my name is nickels. Every vehicle I have is still where the tag's dead on Tina's car. The front tire's still going flat from the gang stalkers. My Ranger, the exhaust is gone on it. The freaking tires are bald. The Bronco won't even crank now because supposedly it's so out of gas it won't even crank here on the hill. I mean, everything I have is destroyed. Everything I have is tore up. Everything. And I don't have the money to fix anything. I'm on my last legs here. A really big disappointment I got 2 days ago. A massive disappointment, but I knew it. I already knew it. I don't know if you guys look at me. You look like I have less chains on me, but finally, after I had my ex-wife served for divorce papers, I got on Google. You guys know that Google is hacked specifically for you if you're a targeted individual? Well, they'll put certain information to you only if I type something in I want to know, they'll literally give me false information. It'll be totally different than somebody sitting behind me. I mean, you can try that test yourself where you Google something and a non-targeted person Googles something, and you guys will get two totally different things. And it's not just algorithm. It's specifically manicured for me. Now I lost it. Now they took my thought. Oh, okay. So I Googled the next steps for divorce. Once she's already been served, I had her served at home and at work. The one day a week she works, I had her served. I got confirmation sheriff's office, she was served. So I Googled what I got to do next. And then I got back this huge response. Oh, you have to go fill out this paperwork and this paperwork. And you have to get it notarized. And you have to reserve. I mean, it was a list of like 20 more things that I had to do just to get her in a courtroom. So I was like, what the hell? Because I'm going to make sure if and when I leave this planet, that freaking gang stalking, fentanyl snorting, thieving, garbage cum dumpster that my ex-wife is. I swore to myself, that's the main thing keeping me alive, is to make sure that bitch didn't get nothing when I die. So I called the clerk of court the other day. I said, what do I need to do next? I know you can't give legal advice. What's the next step? She's already been served terms of divorce. And they said, oh, it's easy. Come to the clerk of court. And the clerk of court can handle the rest of the paperwork. I said, really? She said, yes, you ain't got to do nothing else. Just come to the clerk of court and we'll see that she was served on the last case and she didn't come in, she didn't respond, and we'll handle it for you. So I go to the clerk of court, I stand there, I said, listen, I'm going to get my divorce finalized. I need to go in front of a judge. She said, okay, no problem. She goes to the back for about 10 minutes. She comes back. She hands me 2 pieces of paper. One's a copy. She says, you're divorced. I counted up the seconds, the minutes, the hours. I counted the days. I counted the months. I counted the years. I counted everything down to the smallest microbe about my divorce and how many days I was stuck with her. It was like almost 32 freaking years. I was married to a gang stalking person who literally was put in my life at the beginning of my adult life. Well, when I was 16, she's put in my life to wreck me. And she took 32 years. She took the best, most productive years of my life being a gang stalker and destroyed everything. Now I'm a lot more blessed than most people. I've got a piece of land on the side of a mountain. Everything's paid for. I ain't got no money, but everything's paid for. Everything I own is paid in full. Just got to keep paying taxes for some reason. Got to keep paying taxes on stuff we own. So I didn't tell Tina the first day. I didn't say a word to her. I wanted to keep it a secret. I told my youngest daughter, I said, keep it a secret. Don't say nothing. She said, okay, then. Because she'll be the one that gets everything if anything happens to me. So I waited. And Tina come over there like 2 or 3 days ago to spend 10 minutes with me. Well, it was 2 hours. She comes and plays on her phone for 2 hours. And I waited and waited. And I was like, I don't want to tell her. I don't want to tell her. I don't want to tell her I got divorced yet. I want to wait. I want to do something special for my divorce. So, voices in my head kept saying, yeah, just tell her, just tell her, just tell her. She got ready to leave. I said, wait a second. Come on inside. I'll show you something. So then I counted off the seconds. I counted off the minutes. I counted off the days. I counted off the months. I counted off the years. I counted off every scenario to count by of how long I was married to that treacherous, gang stalking, garbage pail child that I was married to. And I handed her the divorce. I didn't say I was divorced. I just handed her the paper and she looks it over and reads it. She's like, oh, what does this mean? And I said, I'm divorced. Because the whole point was, we're going to get divorced and then we can get married. And the look on her face was like, oh. Anybody out there just think to yourself that women suck? The ladies in the audience, what, 2 or 3 are in here? I've just about lost all respect for women. Just completely altogether. I just about lost all respect because you guys drank the Kool-Aid more than we did. Men are expendable. White, middle-aged Christian men in America are we're going extinct. We are literally on the endangered species list. And it used to be that women are like, well, men don't say how they feel. You need to tell your feelings. Well, we're to the point now in this country where I'll speak for me, where I tell you how I feel and nobody still no one listens. So what the hell good is saying how I feel when no one listens? And it just goes to show, if you don't have a monetary value, you're completely useless to everyone as a man. Men, if you can't generate revenue, you're completely useless in this country. That's why when you're targeting individuals, it's so important for the gang stalkers to destroy your ability to take care of yourself and to finance your family. They destroy your ability to support yours and your family's lives. Because once you take that away, because they know, gang stalkers know, and common sense tells you that when a man doesn't have the money, that man is not needed, wanted, or desired. How far could you go, gentlemen, if you had a woman behind you encouraging you? How far, gentlemen, would you go if you had a woman telling you every day, honey, you can do it? No matter what it is, we're going to get through it. How far could you go with the voice that's in your head telling you should kill yourself, instead having somebody beside you holding your hand saying there's nothing we can't beat together? Instead, I'm stuck with 1,000 voices that says the most derogatory things you can imagine. V2K is so much better, so much better than Thought to Skull. Thought to Skull sucks worse because at least V2K, somebody's talking to you. With Thought to Skull, they just implanted in your mind how worthless you are. As the plane comes back over. So, I'm divorced. Anything happens to me, this place is covered. My daughters get everything I own. No harm, no foul. I made it that long. I made it that long. I mean, out of everything that I acquired in the 51 years I've been on this planet, all my hard work, all the motorcycles I owned, all the boats, all the freaking cars, all the trucks, all my business accounts, all the material things in this world, I worked my ass off for and freaking earned, killed myself to get. And it's all just freaking ashes now. It's all ashes. This program takes everything you have. Even worse than that, it doesn't take it all. It makes it so worthless that you can't even afford to make it work any longer. So when do you say I'm not getting enough? I'm going to stand up and swallow any more of my teeth. I don't have enough teeth left to swallow. When do you say that? I think about my best friend. He was a targeted individual before I even knew what word me. Me and several of my buddies were targeted. As I told you guys, I lived in an apartment. I lived in the closet of an apartment. It's a pretty wild apartment complex. It's a party place to be. There's a bunch of college kids, but I moved in when I was 16. When I was living there, my buddies decided it'd be a great idea to burn down a cop car. Now, I was targeted at birth, but that just puts you higher up on the ladder. So my buddies decided to blow up a freaking cop car, and that identifier of terrorist was put on my head. The identifier terrorist was put on my head, and it put me on the lists. When I'm 16 years old, I get put on a terrorist watch list because my buddies decide to put 22 bullets and pour lighter fluid on the back end of a brand new Impala police car. I'm the only person, there's only one other person, and it's a woman, out of 6 people that stayed in that house. Me and that woman are the only people left alive. Every other person that was in that house died from a massive heart attack, went from being completely healthy to a massive heart attack at 40. You know, they have weapons to do that. To unalivings, where my best friend was strung himself up by a rope. His voices told him to. I learned that from his baby's mother. Told me that about a year and a half after he was dead. That he was saying the most foul things to him. So we all got put on this list. We've been on it ever since. And it breaks my heart to even be on this property, a gorgeous piece of property, and watch these gang stalkers destroy every tree on the property because they want to see what I'm doing from the satellites. Biggest tree on the property is now dead as a hammer. It died within a week's time. All these trees around me just dying so they can watch me closer with the drone. If you think satellites are out in space, you're out of your mind. Satellites, they take satellites up with freaking balloons, and they're up in the inner atmosphere on balloons. There's satellites floating around that you see, lights, those are drones. When do you stop swallowing teeth? When do you stop? All right. Everybody's in here. Pray for me. I'm at a loss.